Questions. Always questions. The world is full of questions. The SAT is full of questions. Who is asking all of these questions? Does it matter? Not really. Your task is but to answer them. Now, I will help you to answer a small portion of these questions, those certain queries that come to us from a limitless, timeless dimension, a dimension known only as reading comprehension. So come with me now on a journey of the eye and of the mind, and sometimes of the number 2 pencil. A journey you need not fear, that leads not to peril, but only to higher thought and study. As you pass through reading comprehension, you will encounter written passages. Each passage stands alone with its own topic. That topic may come to you from many timeless and distant worlds. From the other universe of literature and humanities, for example, you may stumble upon passages of literature, art, novels, or even biographies. And there's a different but parallel universe offering factual and scientific passages. These may address the worlds of medicine, zoology, chemistry, or physics, or they may take the form of social studies with its history, sociology, or even that dark void of government. Or a passage may even present to you a definite point of view, a considered argument on a subject, known only to that species we call mankind. No, your thoughts do not deceive you. Topics like those I have mentioned are unknown in the world of comic books and sitcoms. Reading comprehension tests your scholastic aptitude, your ability to understand a higher plane of written communication, a plane that is more often found in that dimension of intellect that we know as college level. But fear not your journey through reading comprehension. You have the perfect vehicle for safe travel. Your mind, your good sense. You need only remember to use it wisely. Little will be asked of you on your journey. Just read each passage carefully, attentively, and then, of course, questions. Always questions. Come with me now as we take our first steps on this marvelous journey, and I will give you the keys to unlock the right answers to these many questions. You'll see your journey will be a smooth one. Our scheduled departure looms before us.
And one way to practice for this section is to get a hold of some more difficult writing. A college textbook, a literary magazine, a serious biography, or a science book. Read a few paragraphs so you get used to this kind of thing. Just be sure to get a variety of examples. As he said, the subject could be anything from art to zoology.
And so we depart. Here, if you will, is the first doorway you must pass through to begin your journey. In my hand is the key to unlock its knowledge. This, your first key, is perhaps the most important. It is this. Be sure to read each passage with care, with all your attention. Go where the author leads you. Notice his attitude and tone. Do not be weighed down by the extra baggage of your own opinions of the subject matter. It is the author, not you, who holds the answers. So grasp his ideas and his facts. Note the general organization of the passage. With your second key, I give you a choice. You may want to read the questions before the passage so that you have an idea of what to look for, or you may not. You may wish to concentrate first on the passage with no prior expectations. Practice. Try it both ways to determine what works best for you.
Still another way to approach these things is to read the first and last sentence of each paragraph so you can get an idea of what it's all about. Then read the questions. Then read the whole passage.
Your third key may sound simple, but I ask you to consider it carefully. Answer each question based on what is actually stated or implied in the passage, not necessarily on your own knowledge of the subject, and definitely not on your own attitude about it. If you have knowledge about the subject matter, it may help you with the questions, but it may not. Choose an answer not just because you know it to be true, but because it relates to the questions and the passages. In here, number 4, there may be detours on your journey to truth, blind alleys to lead you astray if you are not careful. These may be statements lurking within certain answer choices, statements that are true, even according to the passage, but that do not answer the specific question being asked. I say to you again, choose an answer that best satisfies the question, not just because you know it to be true. Your final key is this: do not be afraid to steer around a question, or even an entire passage if necessary, if it is too difficult for you. Waste not your time on roadblocks that are impassable, too heavy for you to move aside. Pass them by. You will sacrifice only a few answers while saving precious time. Remember, the twilight world of math still lurks before you.
This is the only section in which the questions don't start easy and get harder as you go along. The level of difficulty is mixed in reading comprehension.
And now we pack the final bag for your journey. I submit for your approval an example, a sample roadmap, if you will, of the type you will surely encounter in reading comprehension. Remember, read carefully and choose answers based precisely on the questions asked. I will help you. Question number 1. The author's reference to White Sands National Monument does which of the following? A. Resolves an apparent paradox. No, I see no paradox in this paragraph, only statements of fact. B. Raises a new question. I think not. The reference to White Sands gives information. It does not ask for any. C. Emphasizes a contrast. Can you find a contrast presented there? I can't. D. Illustrates a general statement. Of course, the mention of White Sands is nothing more than an example of sand formation. Its very name almost paints a picture showing gypsum to be still another source of sand. E, proves a theory. If you choose this answer, you are guilty of reading too much into the answer. That gypsum is indeed a source of sand is stated in the passage as fact, not as theory. Question number 2. The results of the laboratory experiments were significant because they A, proved the moving water is the sole agent in the creation of sand. This cannot be true. The very first sentence states that geologists have a hard time accounting for sand, much less deciding that water, or anything else, is the sole creator of it. B, revised current beliefs that scientists held about the size of sand grains. No, the formation and shape of sand grains are at issue, not their size. C, enabled elaborate calculations to take place. Such calculations may well have been the result of the experiments, but read again. They were not the main point the author was making there. D, called into question a previously accepted model. Read once again the sentence starting with, "It was once believed that sand grains were rounded. The experiments proved this theory wrong," thus questioning a previously accepted model. Here lies your correct answer. E, provided controversial evidence of the makeup of sand. There is no evidence of controversy here, only fact as revealed by the experiments. Question number 3. The passage indicates that grains of sand assume their final shape primarily through which of the following? A, debilitation, B, sedimentation, C, fragmentation, D, compounding, and E, weathering. The correct answer here should be obvious. The entire second paragraph is devoted to the rounding of sand grains and concludes that most were exposed to wind abrasion at one time or another. The wind abrasion is weathering. Answer E is correct. Question number 4. The passage is most probably an excerpt from which of the following? A, an informal article written for a general audience. B, a proposal for a complex research project. C, a college textbook that explains the laws of physics. D, a report by a scientist who made a dramatic discovery. And E, an impressionistic memoir by a distinguished geologist. Answers B, C, and D would require far more detailed and precise descriptions of formulas, calculations, theories, experimental methods, and, yes, even finances. As for answer E, there is nothing impressionistic here. No, we have a simple, straightforward discussion on the formation of sand grains. Answer A is correct. You have done well. Before you lies yet another example of reading comprehension. Read well, answer the questions as you may, and I will return when the time is right to discuss with you your chosen answers. Let us begin again. There is no mistaking question 1. It asks specifically for a main point of the passage. Consider. Answer A seems a good choice. The author's remarks about sporting loyalties suggest artificial allegiances, and changeability is a point that cannot be missed throughout the passage. Answer B is quite wrong. The author claims that sporting spirit thrives despite the trading and selling of players. Answer C is ridiculous. The first sentence states people are consistent in their codes of honor. Answer D tries to mislead you by using the word surrogate. It was used in the discussion of sports teams as tribal surrogates, but not at all in the remarks on national differences. Answer E makes little sense. Whether or not people need to distinguish between forces is not relevant. The whole point here is that they do. Question 2 is a bit more difficult. Again, the process of elimination should assist you. We can forget answer A. Remember, changeability, not durability, is a key theme in this passage. There is no mention of B, destructiveness, or C, uselessness. So it's between D, fluidity, and E, hypocrisy. You could almost make a case for hypocrisy, but it seems much too harsh. The author appears to have an affection for human foibles. He uses the word fickle, which is much softer than hypocrisy. But fluidity fits well, implying a transference of loyalty. That's it. Answer D. Question 3 is similar. A, immorality, is not an issue here, nor is B, benevolence. C, indecisiveness, can trick you. It seems to go along with the changeability of human allegiances. But the author's examples of such allegiance point out keen decisiveness. Please recall, admires teamwork, bravery, shares in exultation. D, apathy is definitely not the case, but isn't adaptability? Certainly more than any other choice for this question. E is correct. Our journey together is now ended. I hope you have learned how the trusty vehicle of your mind can carry you through this section with safety and with speed. You are ready to proceed now as you will, and you must. For there up ahead, another signpost beckoning, leading you on to that other dimension of the mind and eye, that dimension known only as reading comprehension.